servant, given the one talent, sat on it and returned it to the master as same. Now imagine, if you will, if that servant realized the potential that he had with that one talent and was able to do more with it. That servant to us represents the African youth. You see, over 20 million unemployed young people in Nigeria alone are living lives of unrealized potential, having been shortchanged by an education system that failed to prepare them for the world of work and help them discover their talents, and having been rejected by an employment system that refuses to give them an opportunity to rewrite their story.
People like Adewale. Adewale is smart, he's motivated, he's reliable. In fact, he's the kind of guy you want on your team, but you don't even know it. So when we met Adewale, he'd been unemployed for a couple of years. He'd been looking for work, he'd applied to employers, he'd submitted his CV. The first question he'd be asked is, where did you go to university? Adewale didn't go to university. The second question he gets asked is, what work experience do you have? He doesn't have any. And so Adewale and people like him are systematically excluded from formal sector employment. And let's be clear that there are jobs. Millions of jobs are being created in Africa, and a large chunk of those are in Nigeria. The question then becomes, how do we increase incomes for these unemployed young people? How do we grow this supply of work-ready young talent and match it to this very high demand for entry-level work? So this is our approach. When Adewale came to WAVE, first we screened him for things like determination and motivation. Did he really want to change his circumstances? Then we trained him in employability skills. We taught Adewale how to communicate effectively with clients and with his team, how to problem solve on a daily basis, how to manage his time. And then we matched him to an entry-level job with one of our employer partners. While he's working, we supported him by regular check-ins. We would also advocate to his employer to hire for competencies over credentials, so that more people like Adewale could be hired by these employers. So to date, we've trained 1,500 alumni plus. We've matched over 800 of them to jobs with over 200 employer partners of ours. The really wonderful thing, though, is that it works. We have seen income transformation. When young people come through our program, before they experience WAVE, they're earning about $500 a year. 3 years after our program, their income has quadrupled, or more than quadrupled, to over $2,300 a year.
And we've been able to do this with the support of partners who have supported us not just financially, but have also been advocates for us in philanthropic and public and private sector circles. The most exciting thing that we are proud of, though, is that 1/3 of our team is made up of our alumni. So we are young people serving young people. Young people who have a deep understanding of the local context and what the challenges of being unemployed are. Young people who have developed a deep ability to execute in Africa. And young people who are driven by the passion that we are the counterfactual to the African youth narrative. Having our talents, having met opportunity, and being able to realize our own potential, we are passionate about paying it forward. And so over the last 4 years, we've developed a network of people who trust our ability, a rich understanding of that ability to convert unemployed young people into employable young people, and the credibility to begin to challenge ourselves to think about this problem at the system-wide level. How do we create a network of educators who are as dedicated as we are to teaching young people the competencies required for the 21st century? And how do we start to redesign how employers hire young people to make it more inclusive for the 90% of young people who will not get to go to university in Africa?
So back to Adewale. Adewale is now earning over 3 times the national minimum wage. He's using his God-given talents to work in a sales position, and he's breaking himself out of the cycle of poverty. Now, we believe this can be the case for millions of other young Africans, and that's the journey we're on as an organization, and it's one that we hope you'll join us on. Thank you.